Hey, coaches, welcome to Championship Culture. Got a great guest with us tonight. Steve Brooks is the head football coach at CB Aycock in North Carolina. He has been the head football coach there 8 years and has done a great job turning the program around. And he operates in a unbelievably tough. He's a 3A school, but he's in a 3A 4A split conference. So he has to battle teams that are bigger than him almost every night. And he's done a great job. He's been on the YouTube channel before. Got a one of the most popular Y cross videos we got on the channel. We did I can't remember if we did one or two roundtables like right when COVID hit, and he was did a great job. Went through his whole practice plan with us, and so excited to have you, man. And I've been looking forward just to hearing how you do things. I tried to get you to go to lunch with me one time just so I can. So now I got you on the podcast, so I can steal all your good ideas. But excited about listening to you, and let's jump into it. Question number one: can you give us a 1-minute elevator introduction?
Steve Brooks, head football coach at Charles B. Aycock. I'm finishing my 8th season there, and starting year 8, and starting year 22 as a football coach in this great state of North Carolina. I did 1 year at East Carolina in 2004 with John Thompson, and that was a wonderful experience. Got to see the inner workings of college football. Got 2 wonderful boys that are involved in sports and a little bit of everything. And when I have some downtime, spend some time at the beach. So pull for the Tar Heels, pull for the Gamecocks, and the 2 great states that we seem to visit the most. And again, I'm just happy to be on your podcast. I mean, you're doing a great job, and unbelievable the wealth of knowledge I've gained from just you.
Well, I appreciate you being on here, man. We talked about before we started, this tonight would actually be our first game of the season if we were in a regular world. So it's kind of bittersweet, but at least we get to talk about football and learn a little something and get better. And I told you before, how many years? 23?
22.
22. So those boys' good looks, man, they hide it.
Yeah.
You're a big dog veteran football coach, so we're excited to learn from you. So question number 2 is, in your program, what is the definition of culture?
Our players and our coaches have an understanding that the expectation is that they represent something that's bigger than football. It means having great character at home, in the community, in the classroom, and on the field. And if they do those things, if they have that understanding and they understand that it's bigger than just football, then that takes care of everything else.
That's an awesome definition, man. That's great. All right, so here's the big question. What are the 3 best things you do to build culture in your program?
Well, the first one is accountability. We started Accountability Circle on Wednesdays 2 years ago, and it really elevated our program. And the Accountability Circle is not just for players; it's including coaches. So I'll give you a quick story. We were beating Green Central 2 years ago at our place, and we're driving. We had a couple penalties, and it's 4th and 15. About a minute 5 left on the clock, and Coach Brooks decided to throw a pass in the end zone. We knew he couldn't kick the field goal. So instead of running the ball and running some clock, I decided to throw a pass. I said, if he intercepts it, worst case scenarios, we're going to tackle him on the 1 and we're going to be in good shape. We throw an interception. He goes 100 yards for the touchdown to win. We lose 35-33. And so Coach Brooks was in the Accountability Circle for the first time in 25, 30 years. And I did 35 up downs because that was what ended up, we ended up losing that score. And even my coaches were like, man, when you got to like 20, we thought we were going to have to call the ambulance. And I said, no. I said, it might have killed me. I said, but I was going to do the 35 because I owed those kids, because I felt like and not to take a win away from Green Central, but I felt like I gave a game away to our kids that had worked so hard to try to get one. So once Coach Brooks got in the Accountability Circle and showed that he could do his up downs for his mistakes, it became much simpler for the rest of our kids to, they realized that they had a penalty, they had a bad play, they did something wrong in the classroom, they let their position group down, that they got in the Accountability Circle and they did their up downs and they learned from it. So And definitely that is in the back of my mind anytime I'm close to making a stupid bonehead call is I'm not getting back in the accountability circle again. So that's number one.
Give us a couple more. I love this concept. Give us a couple more, just like nuts and bolts. Is it on the practice field? Is it after practice, before practice? How does that whole thing? How explain it to us?
What you mean, the accountability circle, or?
Yeah, the accountability circle.
Okay, so on Wednesday, so we chart all penalties. Basically, it's penalties, and then kids that I get a teacher email from, or they get sent to in school suspend. Like we call it prime time, which is maybe just a period, or it's all day. It's something they've done to let their teammates down, that miss a practice. It's a poor reflection of their position coach, and their position, and then their team. And so they go to the middle of the circle. They call out their name. They call out what they did, and then they do the up downs that represent the penalty.
Awesome, I love it. I'm going to steal that one. All
All
right,
right.
number one.
Fun is number two. I know a lot of people say, you should be having fun if you love football, but not everybody. We have done things to make things fun. And we've made, where it's not so rigorous. There are times where we we'll put up in the locker room, just helmets today, or just shorts today. We might have watermelon or something for them after practice. We try to make it, we want these. What I have learned in the last 5 years is these kids have got to really get to know you, and they got to know you care about them, and that you can put your arm around them, and they got to know you're a real human being, you're a real person. And so we've tried to do as much things like that as possible, show them that we have a sense of humor, we can laugh, that everything doesn't have to be, there's a time for seriousness, and we're going to be serious, but there's also a time where we can have fun too. And I think that's made our kids play harder, is that they realize that they're not walking on eggshells. They're not worried about screwing up. We want them to play fast and go have fun, play fast. That's one thing I usually tell them right before we leave the locker room. Go have fun, go play fast.
Awesome. All right, number three.
We've created a I don't want to call it anymore a senior council. We call it, what I've really tried to focus on this spring and in the summer is we call it a player council. We take the captains and then 2 or 3 kids that, they might be a junior, they might be a sophomore, but if they're playmakers, there's guys that on our football team look up to. And so we've created a player council that we take everything, decisions, whether we're going to suspend a guy, or hey, this guy is screwing up. You need to go take care of your position group. We start with the player council, and it goes out from there. So they're police in their locker room. So it's not like, I know people have said, like in the old days, well, police in their locker room means, fights and stuff like that. That's not what we're talking about. It's, I can go to my senior quarterback, or when he was a junior last year, and say, hey, look, such and such is not getting it done in the classroom, and you're responsible for that. Yeah, you're a quarterback, but you're a back. So you're responsible for that group. You need to go handle that before I need to handle it, or you need to go prep them on, hey, this is not going the right way, and Coach Brooks is going to talk to you about it. And so that's been, big for us. We had some guys 2 years ago that decided they didn't want to wear their team sock, and the player council all agreed. We met with them and said, now what do y'all want to do? This is a team issue deal. How would y'all handle it? And, unanimous, they said, Coach Brooks, they don't need to start. If they can't wear the socks we're wearing, they don't need to start. So that's that's been really big for us, and our culture is that they have ownership in the program. It's not just led by us or by me and the coordinators and the coaches. It's, they have ownership in it as well.
Great. Another great idea, man. I love it. How quickly how quick did that kind of take effect, where they would actually make some tough decisions for you?
I mean, pretty quick. That's when I kind of knew that we were on to something special, when we had that kind of, leadership. We were going from a kind of, walking that gray area of leadership where we had a group that wasn't real, the year before wasn't real sure. They they wanted to lead but didn't know how, and we were trying to teach them how to lead. And then we had, I think, them younger kids kind of grabbed the bull by the horns and saw what we were trying to teach them and just said, all right, the heck with it. This isn't going to be like last year. We're going to go lead this thing because we know where it's going. We know the next 2 years is our window of time, and we're not going to miss that window because, Johnny's over here messing up. It shouldn't take Coach Brooks to jump his tail and have to hear him complain in the locker room about getting yelled at. We need to handle it because that guy's in our group or that guy's on our team. That's stuff that needs to be taken off Coach Brooks's plate. And what they've been good about, because the one question they asked is, what if Johnny doesn't want to do it? I said, then you bring it to me and then I make sure it's handled. I said, I'm going to make sure it's handled regardless. I said, I'm going to check in with the kid. I'm going to find out what's going on with the kid, good, bad, and ugly. He's going to tell me things he might not tell you. But then there's also things that kid's going to tell them that he wouldn't tell me. So I feel like I get between me and the coordinators, we feel like we get a good look into the picture of the globe of what's going on with this kid and why things are happening the way they are.
Love it. And I got a follow-up question because I'm absolutely anal about team socks. How do you do it? Do you issue them at the beginning and let them keep them, or do you take them up after every game and give them back out? How do you do it?
They buy them on the team store, and they're responsible. And I tell them, I say, you don't have your socks, you're not playing. So, or you better go borrow some from. You better find a JV kid at school that day, or you better call somebody to bring you a pair. But other than that incidents, we've been pretty good. And I think the kids realized, they said, oh wow, he'll actually not start those guys. I think I sat them for a quarter, and just to make my point, and I didn't have any more problem with socks after that.
My problem is they lose them, so I always go anal over team socks.
I'm gonna tell them this year because
I spent $1,200 on them socks. I didn't spend that money so you could wear your own socks.
I told some kids that came in for open house the other day. We were talking about our team store, and I said, "Did you get the socks?" And they were like, "No, I forgot to get the socks." And I said, "Well, when I open the store again, you either get the socks, or," I said, "you better buy some tape and learn how to draw a good check mark. The Nike check mark." I said, because one way or another, you're going to look like everybody else.
I was reading. I'm reading a book right now, Randy Jackson's book, and one of the things he said is the easiest part of coaching is when you put the whistle on.
Yeah,
it's all the other stuff that is the hard part. And here we are talking about socks. But that's one of the things that make me crazy is the team socks.
Yes, sir.
All right. Question number 4, and this is a big one. Now that I know what a veteran you are, what do you know now that you wish you knew when you first got started?
The biggest thing that I have learned, and I wish I had known it more when I was an assistant, it doesn't matter what X and O's or whatever. The players are not going to play for you and not going to go hard until they know you care about them. Once you know that you'll run through a brick wall for them, they'll do anything you ask. So, yeah, 22 years, that's the biggest thing that I've learned is that, until they know you care, they don't care. And once they know you care, it's not always roses, but it's almost that child parent thing. They don't want to disappoint you. Once they know that how much you care about them and how much you have invested in them, they don't want to disappoint you, and they play 20 times harder for you than they ever did before when you're just their coach. So that's the biggest thing I've learned.
Amen. I read a quote the other day that said, if you treat your soldiers like soldiers, they'll fight till it gets hard. But if you treat your soldiers like sons, they'll fight to the death for you.
Oh my God, that's going up in our locker room. That's probably already up in yours, but yeah, I'm definitely stealing that.
They got to know awesome. That you're all in, and they'll be all in. All right. Best way to contact you. You're active on Twitter, if I'm remembering right.
Yes, sir. At Acock Football or at Brooks Coach is my 2 Twitter handles.
All right, I'll put those in the show notes. I know all them Y-Cross guys are going to want to get to you because that video. And then anything you want to promote, anything you want to add, this is your time.
No, just that, I know there'll be people from all across the country, watching this because, I mean, like I said, you're doing a tremendous job. In our state, we're just lucky we're going to have football. It looks like we're going to be able to play in the spring, hopefully, and we're excited about that. I think, with all these kids going to school, having to start school year online and things like that, it gives them something to look forward to. And for us, it's another headache, obviously. The one headache to it is, we're going to have to worry about that mid-year exam and turnover with grades. And I think I've probably sent more emails reminder about making sure seniors are taking at least 3 classes and grades this in August is as early as I've ever sent. But, just excited. And, our state has great football here, like, the surrounding states. And, I'm trying to be optimistic about it, that it's going to help us more of our kids get recruited, that, playing spring football, these colleges can get out more and be on our sidelines and be at our practices, and more of our kids can be seen. And that's the whole part of this deal, is to help kids try to go to college that maybe have never had that chance before. So, just, got a lot of time, not a lot of time, but we've had some time to plan and get ready. And we've got some more planning to do and more prep, but hopefully by February we'll be ready to go. And hopefully our state here will, and everything in our country will change here soon, where maybe we can get back to a little bit of normalcy and can get back to being around our kids a little bit more and throw the football around before it gets too cold. And just look forward to seeing my kids again. And I know my personal kids are looking forward to seeing our players again. So, everybody wants football back, and hopefully we'll get it here sooner than later.
Now, were you able to do any summer work with your kids?
I have not seen them since March 13th.
Yeah, we're the same way. We have not got to see them. We saw them at a few of them at the open houses.
Yeah,
in the school, and pleasantly surprised. They grew up. They're looking good, but haven't got to practice since March. So it's tough. And you threw 2 nuggets. As soon as we get off this, I'm going to send out the reminder about seniors making sure they got 3 classes. And then I have heard nobody say what you just said about the increase in the visibility for recruiting.
Yeah,
that's a fantastic idea and fantastic selling point. I gotta start preaching it, because you're right. Now they're actually be able to come to a real game. So
yeah,
plus.
Selfishly, I want college football to happen this fall. I mean, one, it gives us something to watch, but I want them to go ahead and play so they can get on the road this spring. And Friday nights, it would, I don't have a lot of D1 recruits in my school, but I got kids that can go play college football. And the more of those schools that can go ahead and play, those coaches can get on the road and see our kids and see whoever we're playing's kids, and give those kids an opportunity to go to college. So I'm hoping for a college football season, just so the recruiting can be better for us in the spring.
Yeah, fantastic selling point. I haven't heard that and hadn't thought that, and now I'm all in, man. That's a great idea and great selling point. Man, I sure do appreciate you doing this. Been wanting to pick your brain on program stuff for a while, and I finally got to do it. I tell people I do the YouTube channel. That's for everybody. But the podcast is really for me. I'm wanting to steal ideas, and I got a bunch of them from you. I appreciate you doing this, buddy.
No, always, Coach. I've learned so much from you, and such a wonderful friendship. And you're growing our game every single day and making it better, and you're making coaches like me better. And I'm excited every single time your name pops up on my phone. I know I'm going to learn something and get something new. So appreciate you having me on. And anytime, I'll do anything I can do to help you.
I appreciate it, buddy. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.